In this video help, I'm going to be covering the interface overview and talk a little bit about the application and its capabilities. One of the first things I want to point out that this is version 3.5. Version 3.5 had a lot of buttons and tabs to include these. What happened is the user interface at the particular time that this application was designed about 3 years ago, this was how we had to navigate the application. And what happened is that recently, about a year and a half ago, I added drop-down menus, and these are all the screens that are included in the current 3.5 version. There was also a do action that was added at that time that had buttons where you could actually navigate and do actions in the application. What we found recently, since January of last year, new applications capabilities were added from the developer and the software that we designed with. So what we've done is we've taken the application that you see here and we've created a new one. The new application is going to be version 4, and it's renamed the Consignment Store number 4, version 4. Now this application added some new features that are called popovers over here. It reduced the number of buttons and interface requirements, although I did add these down here in certain screens because these are highly used screens and they need to navigate quite easily. I'm going to say, as far as the overview, I'm going to show you basic things about this screen, and then I'm going to talk about the application on a whole in the next videos. First of all, let's talk about the usage of this application. If you're not familiar with the Consignment Store 3.5 and 4, now the new version, there are different ways you can use this application. It can be used on a Mac, on a PC with Windows. It can be used on a cloud version. And the cloud version is a multi-user version. What is that? On a multi-user version, it allows you to have multiple users concurrently, and it can be on the cloud. Then it can be, when it's on the cloud, it can be used on the Mac. It can be used on an iPad and iPhone with using a thing called FM Go, which adds more interface capabilities on the iPad than the old versions did. And then it has the cloud, where in the cloud you can access this from all those devices. And you can also, if you have a browser on an Android device, you can actually access it on an Android, which makes it very universal. And that's for the cloud version. Now, why would you use a cloud version? The cloud version in a store, you might have one device or two or three or more. If you needed people to use it concurrently, you would, for example, some stores have either part-times or volunteers that work in the store. If you had multiple devices like an iPad or a desktop, the desktop version would be used for, say, the manager and persons that were doing adding of inventory in the consignment app. So it adds a lot of utility if you have the cloud version. It's a little bit more for the cloud version than it is for the standard versions for iPad, iPhone, Mac, and Windows as an individual app. So for that reason, this interface was very important to be able to be used on all those devices and be useful. For example, this is pillars of information that can be used on an iPhone. You just slide over, and this is another pillar, and then this is another one. And if you bring up a full screen like this, you can slide backwards and forwards without having to navigate through the whole screen to add new information. This particular information here used to be in a screen that was quite a bit smaller, about up from here up and down. That's the amount of space you had to work within. It was kind of hard on an iPad or an iPhone to be able to visualize the boxes where you add data and navigate. But now with the popovers like we're looking at here, we can have a lot more space. Another nice thing is we were able to add scrolling portals. So you can add multiple records within this screen. And go back over here, this is a multiple portal slider. So you can add new records right from this screen and not have to navigate to another screen or go through a tab with a smaller area. So the new version 4 has a lot of utility. But overall, the whole application has been condensed. And things like this, for example, over here, used to be on the screen, the other screen, but now you also have the concurrent thing over here where you can bring up things like store credit and see exactly where that store credit was put in and the amount that was given. And down here shows you the amount that you have for balance and the paid out and the credit. And if you come over here, you can edit these. On this row, for example, this is automatically dropped in. And this is calculated for you. So for example, if I had $3.60 and I put 3 in there, now all I have to do is do 2, and it gives you an automatic update. And then if you go over to the credit screen, you can see that it also updates it here, and also it updates it in other screens within the application. For example, in the inventory listing as far as the consigned items. So that's how popovers are working. We've also changed the map somewhat. With a new map, it's a little easier to see because it's larger type, and yet there's fewer screens now than there used to be. For example, we took the consignment report and we consolidated 3 different reports into one. And then we modified the invoice long print from the old application, and now it is actually a report and a long invoice. And then there's a standard invoice also, that if you don't have a lot of items on the invoice, you use a standard, and on the long invoice and report, you can use an infinite number of items if somebody bought a truckload of things from you in one day. Okay, so that's basically what the application offers as far as some of the new items. Now, what I'm going to do in the next video is I'm going to cover how you navigate, what screens you add, what order do you add them in, and what information is provided in each screen. And like I said before, it's been condensed quite a bit, so it's a lot easier to use as far as adding, editing, and managing data. Since this is a custom application, what does that mean? A custom application means if it doesn't fit exactly like a shoe, comfortable shoe, the way you want it to work, we will redesign it to your requirements. There may be a fee for that. In some cases, if it's something simple, we'll just add it, and then you'll have the ability to have it in your application. If you have questions or you need help with our applications, you always have free technical support. We use Skype for live chat, where we can actually show you the screens as we work through it with you and talk to you and explain to you how to use them. And you can either show us the app if you own it and you're having trouble. We can go ahead and help you through whatever your issues are, and that way you get immediate help. This is not like other applications where they charge you every time you ask for support. We don't ever charge you because you have free technical support with this application. And we're happy to consult with you if you need help about running this application or other questions you have about using an application like this in your consignment business. So you have an opportunity to lean on somebody with 40 years worth of experience, and this app started roughly 30 years ago and has grown and had input from our very wonderful clients and also our consigners to make this a better application, almost the best one out there available for anybody. And it's a great value because these applications are under $100. Normally this would cost you about $1,400 or more for an application like this. So we look forward to talking to you, and also if you want a demonstration of this application beyond the videos, we'd be happy to accommodate you. Thank you.